Lastly, let's have a look at the G in ESG, which refers to governance of an organization. The goal of governance is to help create a better community through things like ethics, diversity standards, company culture, and the sustainability of day-to-day operations. The governance factors of decision-making are applicable among different participants in corporations, including board of directors, managers, shareholders, and stakeholders. Governance can include environmental or social concerns, depending on how a company categorizes it. For example, supply chain management touches on the environmental and social issues, yet the management of supply chain is ultimately dictated by those in senior leadership. Let's dive into some key areas of governance. Board quality, diversity, and effectiveness looks at the qualifications, accountability measures, and the integration of ESG factors into business planning as key governance concepts that the leadership of an organization needs to execute for successful multi-year strategies. For example, the importance of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion among senior leadership, board, and overall structure is more likely to reach diverse markets and thereby avoid groupthink that a homogeneous leadership team would otherwise be subjected to. The impacts of diversity of an organization not only provide a more inclusive work environment, but also have financial benefits. An example of a direct impact can be seen in the realm of recruiting. Retaining top talent is more likely to occur when organizational practices and policies are equitable when relating to diversity and inclusion. DEI has become a critical benchmark in business with pressures from customers, employees, suppliers, investors, and so on. They're all looking at comprehensive execution of these DEI strategies. Let's look to reporting and transparency and business ethics. Stakeholders want to know that people throughout the company conduct business ethically and responsibly. Business practices and procedures built around anti-competitive practices, information disclosures, auditing, and compliance issues all aid in building a governance story of strong business ethics. Additionally, a key activity in this governance section is measuring the actual data pointing towards the performance of these ethical practices. Recording the data and consistently reporting it promotes transparency and visibility to all key stakeholders. So focusing on the comprehensiveness, accuracy, and consistency of this data is what sets ESG as a framework apart. When businesses report on ESG-related actions internally as well as externally, companies are able to create benchmarks of data, view trends, and therefore identify areas of improvement. Delivering transparency to key stakeholders has become a new norm and often expected. Lastly, let's look at senior leadership compensation within the governance pillar. Senior leadership compensation looks at how a leader's compensation, or more simply put, how a leader's incentives are tied to the integration of these ESG factors. Shareholders and investors have a higher interest in the values and systems in place that promote good for people and good for business. The establishment of an ESG commitment and incentives to do so with clear benchmarks and goals, both aligned at the board level and senior leadership level, constitutes the governance piece to ESG. Simply put, the governance of an organization starts at the top and has rippling effects downward, which can have both positive or negative impacts of an organization.